The Big Bang Theory achieved monumental success during its impressive 12-season-long run, making it one of television's most celebrated sitcoms. Its rise wasn't just a success in ratings, it was a cultural phenomenon. At its peak, the sitcom averaged around 20 million viewers per episode, with the season's 7 premiere breaking records with a historic 20.44 million viewers. It also garnered widespread critical acclaim, including multiple Emmy Awards, 4 Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series wins for Jim Parsons alone. The series was celebrated not only for its comedic timing, but for its consistency in bringing heartfelt, character-driven storytelling. By its 8th season, the main cast was earning a whopping $1 million per episode, placing them among the highest-paid actors on television at the time. The show consistently attracted 20 million viewers per week, making it one of the most-watched sitcoms globally. The show's success came from its relatable yet exaggerated look at what was still seen as nerd culture. This was a topic that had started to gain traction in mainstream entertainment in the mid-2000s. This era saw a surge in popularity for geek culture. It was no longer just a niche subculture of people who enjoyed comics, cosplay, and science fiction. It was actually starting to become cool. Suddenly, it was no longer strange to be a fan of Star Wars or comic book characters. Premiering at just the right time in 2007, The Big Bang Theory rode the rising wave of this cultural trend. It was timely and relevant, capitalizing on shifting societal norms, and that connection quickly propelled it into mainstream popularity. It was the right show at exactly the right time. Its mass appeal and iconic catchphrases led many to believe that this was the new generation's comedy classic, replacing Friends as the sitcom that reflected their lives and relationships. Only now, there was more science and relatable social anxiety, and fewer ginormous cappuccinos. The show stood out thanks to its real scientific concepts, geek culture references, and traditional sitcom humor. Unlike many shows before it that would sideline their smart characters and use them for cringe material, The Big Bang Theory put their brainy leads front and center and celebrated their intelligence rather than mocking them. The early seasons introduced a quirky and lovable ensemble: Leonard Hofstadter, Sheldon Cooper, Penny, Howard Wolowitz, and Raj Kuthrapali. Jim Parsons, who played Sheldon, has said that the show's success lies in how relatable the characters were to the audience. Sheldon's eccentricities struck a chord with viewers worldwide, making Parsons a breakout star. Sheldon's comic book t-shirts and iconic catchphrase, "Bazinga," became pop culture staples. And that global impact wasn't just limited to catchphrases. The show consistently blended science and pop culture, featuring cameos from Stan Lee, Stephen Hawking, and even Mark Hamill. When the show celebrated its 200th episode in 2016, guest stars Adam West and Professor Hawking helped mark the milestone, reinforcing the show's unique position between sitcom and scientific knowledge. As the series evolved, it added fresh faces like Bernadette Rostenkowski and Amy Farrah Fowler. This expanded character dynamics and also kept the show engaging. The writers also made sure that the science behind the jokes held up, with a science consultant on staff. The show made it a point that the physics was treated with the respect it deserved. It helped normalize scientific discussion on primetime television and also inspired a generation of young viewers to pursue careers in science and engineering. And with its continued popularity, those generations of scientists just keep coming. Of course, Sheldon's popularity led to spin-offs like Young Sheldon and the now-running George and Mandy's First Marriage. This is proof that the character's legacy, as well as the show's cultural impact, continue to evolve. By blending pop culture, authentic science, and relatable characters, The Big Bang Theory carved its way into a unique spot in television history. The decline. Despite all this success, The Big Bang Theory faced a noticeable decline that can be attributed to a number of factors, and it wasn't just fans who were growing unhappy with the show. The unexpected departure of Jim Parsons after season 12 was a shock. It not only surprised showrunners, but also the fellow cast. CBS had plans to renew the show for another 2 years and reportedly offered Parsons $50 million to stay on. But he declined, saying that the show had run its course. His departure left the producers feeling that without Sheldon Cooper, there could be no Big Bang Theory. As they put it, if one's going, we're all going. Parsons' decision to leave caused a great deal of tension on set, with Kaley Cuoco particularly upset by the news. The out-of-the-blue nature of the announcement made many believe this was just a part of contract negotiations. Executive producer Steve Holland noted in interviews that Cuoco was so hurt by the news she could barely make eye contact with Parsons. The cast had to deal with a lot of difficult feelings following the abrupt end of their meal ticket. Cuoco also expressed dissatisfaction with Penny's storyline. She became particularly frustrated when the writers decided that Leonard and Penny would have a baby together, despite the fact that Penny had been staunchly child-free throughout the series. By season 9, viewers had become weary, with critics even noticing a distinct decline in the sharpness and originality of the humor. The jokes were beginning to feel stale and repetitive, with many feeling that the writers were leaning too heavily on tired stereotypes and cliches. Fans felt that the characters' once charming quirks devolved into exaggerated caricatures, losing their earlier authenticity and appeal. When a show runs as long as The Big Bang Theory did, one thing that can happen is that the audience grows up and their opinions shift. What they once found funny no longer resonates. Several early storylines and character portrayals began facing criticism for outdated and insensitive humor. Howard Wolowitz, played by Simon Helberg, received a lot of backlash. His character's early depiction as an overly confident and often creepy chauvinist was always uncomfortable to watch, but for some, it went too far. Helberg even received online hate simply for portraying Wolowitz. Although Howard's relationship with Bernadette moderated much of his behavior, many still found the earlier episodes troubling and disrespectful. Raj's storyline of selective mutism was often played lightly as comedic relief, with him only able to suppress this issue through alcohol. This element eventually faced backlash, too. Many criticized the show for making fun of a genuine mental health condition. The portrayal became especially controversial considering actor Kunal Nair's real-life struggles with alcohol dependency, which were exacerbated by the pressures and stress of filming. Leonard's character also faced scrutiny for his manipulative behavior. While he gained some romantic success, he often exhibited passive-aggressive, possessive traits toward his partners. His dynamic with Penny often included subtle belittlements of her intelligence, which diminished her growth over the course of the series. Additionally, Leonard's treatment of his girlfriend Priya was criticized as patronizing and disrespectful, further reducing viewers' sympathy for his character. Penny, played by Kaley Cuoco, was also problematic in early seasons. Initially positioned as the ditzy blonde girl next door, she was portrayed as manipulative yet naive, serving mainly as a love interest for Leonard. Her acting struggles were frequently compared negatively to her male counterpart's academic success. Even her eventual career success in pharmaceutical sales was downplayed as nepotism, since she got the job through Bernadette, something Bernadette reminded her of more than once. There was little genuine recognition of Penny's capabilities. However, thanks to Cuoco's talent, we got to see Penny mature into a more fleshed-out, outspoken, and independent woman. Could have been avoided. So, could The Big Bang Theory have avoided this decline? Maybe. It might have stayed fresher longer if the writers had kept a better eye on shifting comedy trends, tackled criticism head-on sooner, ditched outdated jokes, and taken creative risks. Even just rounding out characters like Penny and making Leonard less whiny and toxic could have helped. Although Jim Parsons' exit came as a shock, it ultimately felt like the right time to call it quits. But if the team had been more prepared for his departure, the show might have had a better shot at crafting a smoother ending, or even finding a new direction without him. As it stands, the season 12 finale is the highest-rated episode of the series. At the end of the day, the show's journey, from breakout hit to cultural staple to a bumpy ending, shows just how tricky it is to stay on top in the ever-evolving world of TV. Still, one cannot deny the market left. The Big Bang Theory helped pave the way for a new type of comedy, made geek culture and science cool, and gave fans a whole lot of laughs along the way. Its legacy is solid, even if it wasn't always perfect. What do you think? Could The Big Bang Theory have sustained its popularity longer, or was a decline inevitable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay tuned to Movie Recap Pro for more insights on our favorite shows and movies.